Hello. Today I would like to talk about capital punishment. Arkansas is being criticized for rushing through 7 lethal injection cases this month due to possible complications associated with the drugs involved. Complications include bleeding from difficulty finding a vein and other problems arising from poor IV placement, as well as unpleasant side effects from the drugs. For example, in 2014, Clayton Lockett shook uncontrollably as the drugs did their work, which was apparently the result of poor IV placement. Other complications include taking as long as 2 hours to die and difficulty breathing. Anecdotally, because they are often those who support physician-assisted suicide, those who complain that lethal injection is cruel and unusual face a quandary. The complications associated with the typical legal means of euthanasia are similar to those of execution via lethal injection. Today, I do not intend to defend the death penalty or to attack it. I only wish to discuss this quandary and remark upon what methods we might use if we are to use any method of execution at all. Between 1997 and 2011, 460 patients in Oregon died by physician-assisted suicide, mostly by ingesting doses of either secobarbital or pentobarbital after taking an antiemetic. The antiemetic may cause vomiting, and death may occur in as quickly as 2 minutes from ingestion or in as long as 4.5 days. In Washington, death has occurred between 9 minutes and 28 hours from ingestion. This is odd. On the face of it, by the standards maintained by lethal injection's detractors, the means of physician-assisted suicide are cruel and unusual. After all, neither uncontrollable shaking nor vomiting are very pleasant, and sitting around for days while a lethal dose does its work may weigh heavily on the mind of even one who wants to die. Yet, and again I say this anecdotally, the sort of person who demands a stop to executions like those taking place in Arkansas on the grounds that it is cruel and unusual is often the sort of person who champions euthanasia by the means just described. How might this be explained? Maintaining life and health against great odds requires expertise. Death, killing, does not. You do not need a physician's expertise or a chemist's lab to bring about a sick person's death. However, though physicians do not administer lethal drugs in executions, our reverence for them provides a distraction from the muck and mire of killing. The clinical setting of the lethal injection provides a veneer of the doctor's expertise, lending an air of respectability to an act that, done by putting a gun to one's head, lacks. The gunshot is probably painless, but it forces us to confront the violence of killing. Similarly, having lost faith in the moral heart of our culture, we try to elevate execution by mixing it with technical expertise. Had we the confidence to render judgment in sincere moral conviction, this would not be necessary. In lieu of that, we transform the practice of execution into a technocratic ritual display. As it happens, I am opposed to execution by lethal injection, but not because it is cruel and unusual. Death penalty debates are often very focused on minimizing pain, but I think this blinds us to a consideration that is at least as important, especially given the possibility of erroneously executing the innocent. That consideration is dignity. I oppose execution by lethal injection because it is undignified. It demands that the prisoner take it lying down, strapped to a gurney like the state's misbegotten science experiment. The guillotine is no better. It forces you to bow on your knees like a slave. And hanging? The gallows has always borne the peasantry, and others denied their dignity as its strange fruit. Being strapped down, forced to bow, or hung to swing and die put you in physical positions that are undignified. I suggest that more dignified physical positions include standing and facing your antagonist, confronting him with the weight of what he is doing. It is even better if many must act together to bring about your demise. At least part of this dignity arises from the posture of defiance standing and facing a group allows you to take. Only the firing squad allows you to face your executioner. Only the firing squad allows you to go out defiantly, standing with dignity. The unfortunate innocent person about to be executed at least has that. Moreover, a dozen or half a dozen .30-06 bullets to the chest at close range is complication-free, immediate. It could hardly be more humane. Moreover, members of the firing squad must face you, and all that implies in our lived experience with each other. We should wonder whether the real issue here is concern for the suffering of the condemned prisoner or our own discomfort as a society. Death by firing squad should be extraordinarily rapid if a bullet hits the heart, and certainly will not be drawn out over 45 minutes as the lethal injection of Clayton Lockett was. However, the firing squad leaves a bloody, disfigured body, even more so if the firing squad targets the forehead rather than the heart. So, I hypothesize that even a botched lethal injection stirs protests at least as much from discomfort watching the prisoner writhe on the gurney as from any certainty about whether he is conscious or experiencing pain. The quandary, then, appears to arise from our concern for our own comfort masquerading as concern for the prisoner about to be executed. Or, at least self-concern may taint other concern in these cases. Such masquerading concern may provide insight into the anecdotal capital punishment detractor who defends euthanasia. The considerations I've discussed may tell us something about what methods are acceptable in capital punishment, if any are. If this content resonated with you, raised questions, or otherwise made you think, comment, like, and subscribe. If you hated it, feel free to explain why in the comments as well.